Welcome to Tone Talks. Welcome to Tone Talks. Welcome to Tone Talks.
How's everybody doing today? This is Attorney Antonio Moore. I'm here to have a discussion about a show, about a topic that I started at the beginning, some 5 to 6 years ago, about Jay Morrison, the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. But I'm also going to be talking about Boyce Watkins, the finance professor, and his video yesterday. I'm going to get into some details because I watched some of that video, and I have no idea what he was talking about. It is your job to pull financial records and explain to us why you vouch for this. I don't want to hear nothing about no Popeyes. Let me say that again. It is your job to be a finance professor. You present yourself selling classes. You vouch for this, man. Now tell us why. Boyce, did you get your 10,000 out? I want to know those questions at least. Did your 10,000 come out? Because you said you special. You know, I'm Boyce Watkins. I don't know what that means, but you said I'm Boyce Watkins. Boyce told me he's special. Well, you're going to get some special treatment today. Let's talk about it. So this was announced, if you go back 2017 or 2018, around then, with this Shade Room post. And it had these two black people in the front of all these buildings talking about buying a town. It transitioned from that into a fund where we was asking black people, who me and Yvette were saying were largely wealthless, for the little wealth they had because you was going to make them rich. Let's just talk. The reason it anchored is because people like the Shade Room posted it, but in addition, people like Boyce and Tariq vouch for this thing. They vouch for it. So you, as a person who's been following those other people, said, I'll give you 500. They said you good, so I believe you good. But I shut all that down and said it ain't good. How about it? So we gonna get into today about where we're at, how we got here. We're gonna have some short clips in between the video. Stick with me. And we're gonna talk about how that vouching is why you gave your money and what you need to do now for the people that made you vouch. I don't want to hear nothing about something you said in 2020 where you kind of came back and you realized, no, I want to know about 2017, 2018. Ask yourself why you gave your money. Then ask yourself why you stopped. I did a couple videos and I made Black America reassess what is it that a financial advisor should look like? What should be their skill set? Is it enough to be in this damn plaid suit with this woman? Or do I need to know where you went to business school, whether you worked for PepsiCo, whether you have some finance background? Hold on. You a 3-time felon that dropped out of high school, maybe in 10th grade. Are you literate? How about we start there? I want to get to it today. Shout out to Vet for being in the chat. A lot of people was talking and rambling. They bombed Black Wall Street in 1921 on June 1st. And on June 1st, 2018, we take our steps toward rebuilding it through the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. By June or July of 2018, I was shutting it down. No, we're not doing no, you taking $500 from people. Talk about it. We're going to get into the discussion. I'm going to take some calls at some point. 310-388-3499. Subscribe to the channel. Boyce can come get this work. As I said in my show in 2018, and dude knew the show was on, he can call too. Morrison can call too, get that work. I'm not the one. So all of this talk is going to get cleared up, and we moving beyond a picture that says the power couple into what happened as a result. And I told y'all this was going to happen. You were using the optics and contrasting it against Wakanda. This was the Instagram post. Marvel's Black Panther first week, $292 million. Tulsa Real Estate Fund first week, $10 million. So we know they at least got 10. But then I was like, nah. Because I think they was about to run and get 50 million of y'all money. We shutting all this down. I did some shows. But where's the 10 million now? Oh, it's in him paying himself amongst the most elite Americans, let alone Black Americans. And I'll show you what I mean. I think he made 600,000 in management fees and another $1 million in administrative fees. Ain't no profits though. But Boyce is still out here acting like, well, why y'all buy Popeye's chicken? That's not what we came to your show for. You need to pull the financials and tell us why you thought this was a sound investment, because you told us it was. I need you to see today that you believed in this, because these people on YouTube that you follow for years told you to believe in it. We have to go back and look at it. And Boyce was having him on the Black Business School, teaching lessons. Mr. Real Estate Morrison, high school dropout, 3-time felon, now major real estate mogul. What made him major? Why is the word major in there? This is his business school.
And my instinct said, okay, he's really thought this through. He's really laid this out. This is going to be nice. This infrastructure is solid. And I immediately gained faith in what Jay was doing. You know, I said, okay, you know what? I'll back you. Let me know what I can do. Let me know how I can help. I was one of the initial investors. I stepped right up and wrote my check and sent it in. And I said, I'm in this. And we talked about it. I supported. People asked me about it. And I always, whenever they ask me about it, I always tell them the same thing. Why not? Why wouldn't you want to participate? I believe in the fund. I believe in Mr. and Mrs. Morrison. This is just the beginning. I am happy to invest my money. I will invest more money. I can't wait to see all the great things that are done in the future. Together, we can do anything. God bless everybody.
I need you to see, we going all the way back, coming all the way forward. But as we come forward, we need a metric, because I know y'all struggle with the word failure. What do I mean? I mean, you gave your money to a guy that might have dropped out in like 10th or 11th grade, so you struggle with the word failure. You tell me that it don't matter that he's a felon, but I know as a defense attorney, the first question you should ask is, do you have character crimes? What you mean, Tom? Like fraud? I don't know. He just say 3-time felon. I just know that when I look at the bankruptcy, because I actually covered the bankruptcy first, the man in the bankruptcy was claiming fraud, and you still gave him your money. So now let's look at now and forward from that 2018 date. How many people have seen this Better Business Bureau? This is the Tulsa Real Estate Better Business Bureau. Tell me if you've seen it in the chat. What's up, T-Bird? I see you. You wish you would have. Listen, it's okay. Listen now. Listen now. We got it today. Boyce over there struggling with 2,000 views. We about to get 2,000 in the box. We about to clear it all up today with the facts. Y'all ready? So the Tulsa Real Estate Better Business Bureau is a C+, and it's got 1 out of 5 customer reviews. And that C+ is probably just because they've been replying with them standard form replies. I'll show you in a second. I want to know what the people are saying. What are the people saying about their investment? Let's zoom in. Unanswered from May of 2023. Let me see. June, July, August. Oh, they didn't get no answer. I initially invested in Tulsa Real Estate Fund in 2018. I only received 1 dividend check February 12th of 21. Again, I covered those dividend checks. One person received $12 with Tony the Closer years ago now. 2020 or so. Nothing more, not annually as promised. I have attempted to sell and get my money back. You're not going to be able to sell this. Let me ask you this. If I walked up to you with a paper and I said, this paper is a paper for a $600 voucher to a company that's run by a 3-time felon that might have dropped out in 10th grade that paid himself $600,000 off of this $600,000 off of this $600,000. Would you buy this from me for $650? I paid $600, but it's worth like nothing. But can you buy it from me? You can't sell that. So when they say go sell it, they're saying just go figure out your life. You lost that. So I have attempted to sell and get my money back a few times per the computer share. See, so we little business people, which the investment is held. I'm unable to sell you. I bet you are. I was told from Tulsa to find someone else to buy my shares. Greetings. This is the one that got answered, and I'll show you in a second the answers. I am writing because I invested $600 in Tulsa Real Estate Fund back when it started. This is one from September 22 where they answered. This is the Better Business Bureau, For those people that just came in, where they got 1 of 5 stars, they got a C plus. I need you to see this because this is where we're at now. I'm writing because I invested $600 in TREF when it started, and after receiving $20 in return, I'm trying to get my funds back so I can invest in my employee plan. You always should have been in your employee plan. You should have never gave these people that money, that donation. That's what I told y'all it was. It was a donation to a 3-time felon, 10th grade, 11th grade dropout that was basically going to use your money for some Gucci and some trips. But they are saying my funds have to stay with them. I haven't received any response to my request. Thank you. This is their response. Let's talk. So they got this response and they done used it. They changed a little bit about it over and over again. 1A, investor statement. I invested $2,000 in the Tulsa real estate fund at startup. The following February, I received a dividend check of $40. This is their response. The Tulsa real estate fund paid dividends in an amount exceeding $391,000 in February of 21. We took the money in 2018. We told people they're going to get it annually. We never profit. So then we just gave them a little nothing and they can't get their money back, but we don't want to tell them. So we just want to do bare minimum so we can keep our C plus. When we really a F. Each partner of record received an allocation of the total payment percentage based on the percentage of equity they own. As 2A, investor statement. As stated in the startup, Tulsa claimed partners will receive 4% of the profit annually, but there has to be profit. If you're paying yourself $600,000 a year, and then you got another $1 million in administrative fees, and then you don't know what you're doing because you're a dropout, ain't gonna be no profit. So you just might as well say that's negative 4%. But I negative 400%. But I ever only received one $40 check from them in 21. I did not receive any dividends for 22 or 23.
Welcome.
Whew. Let's go. Actually, investors are eligible for an 8% preferred cumulative dividend. The dividend is paid periodically based on fund financials and liquidity positions as an emerging company. And what's happening over and over in these Better Business Bureau complaints is they're saying that this don't make no sense. You got Boyce Watkins. He didn't just vouch for him one time. He vouched for him over and over and over again. You had Boyce Watkins basically saying that Jay Morrison is the truth. You had him bring him on the channel over and over again. Jay Morrison has a difficult conversation with Boyce Watkins about the Tulsa real estate. Jay Morrison and Dr. Boyce discussed a 200-year plan for Black, probably financial advisement. Why rappers die so young. Jay Morrison, come on, man. This your guy. But you never knew the financials. So what happens now is you want to be slick in the show and talk about Popeyes and Black-owned businesses. But to understand this discussion, we got to go back. And I want to go back for a reason, because we got to go back and understand what we were saying, what I was saying, what Yvette Carnell was saying, when nobody wanted to talk on this because it seemed like he was going to make us some money. Let's talk about it.
What up? Tone Talks is in here. Y'all been waiting for this show. Last week's show was about legacy. This week's show is about Tulsa real estate. Jay Morrison. All this super talk. We gonna get real tonight. Everybody been talking all across the internet. I ain't here to debate though. I ain't got no other fund that I'm gonna put y'all in. I'm just gonna give y'all that data. I'm just gonna give y'all the results of my research. And it ain't come back good. You know, I had to do all this research. I don't want to know about REITs. Understand this. I invited Jay Morrison or Jermaine Morrison onto the show. He knew about this through his people. He was invited. I guess he's chosen not to come, but I'm going to have this discussion. And understand this, I'm not having a second one. So there's no next week of a debate and all this because I'm not here to debate. I don't have another fund. I'm only here to have a discussion about what I see with this Tulsa real estate and what I see with Jay Morrison. And the reason I have to talk about him individually is because he's tied himself so succinctly into the business in this odd key man kind of unique, my first IPO kind of way. And so let's get this discussion going and have it now. So I look at this thing, and at first, let me pull my first set of notes, and I started studying about REITs. And I got a 15, 20-page document, but I didn't even have to get past the first paragraph. Well, I had some questions for Jay Morrison and for the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. This is what a REIT is. During the last 12 months, we have seen a resurgence in real estate investment trusts, REIT. REIT market participants have started de novo REITs, including equity REITs and mortgage REITs. You know, a REIT is an investment vehicle designed to allow investors to pool capital to invest in real estate assets. So that's a real estate investment trust. And what I wanted to know was whether TREF is a REIT. And I don't think it is. You know, actually, I know it's not, because they say it's not in the document. You know, this all kind of started because I did a video. Thanks for everybody who supported it. And I kind of wanted just to read this document. And I just kind of, at that point, had just kind of covered the basics and talked about what's not in this document. But today we're going to dig a little deeper. We're going to pull back the covers. Honestly, I had no idea why he added this key man clause. We are significantly dependent on Jay Morrison. The loss or unavailability of his services would have an adverse effect on business operations and prospects, and that we may not be able to obtain new management under the same financial agreements, which could result in the loss of your investment. That's not a common term. As an attorney, the only time I've seen him is in deals like when you do production deals, because say you do the deal with a particular producer, if he leave that company, you don't want to be with that company if they sell it or something. This is reverse. He got your money, but then if he leave, your money might disappear. Why would that be in the SEC document? It's not in the granted document. But now once you open that Pandora's box, once you start talking about I did $1 million deal by 28, in a world where black folks don't really do $1 million deals all that often, in a world where black folks, all of us, struggle with student loans, we'll get to that in a second. You open up a whole Pandora's box for me to ask about you. So the two things that came to me, and now I kind of have it solidified, is this lawsuit and this bankruptcy with Jay Morrison. So, you know, I'm literally figuring out how I wanna do this. I don't reach out to nobody. I'm not an investigative journalist. I'm an attorney. But we don't have black media. And when you don't have black media, who steps to the call? Dash Radio, Tone Talks. Come on. And so, like, this individual, I think his name is Michael Levant, he reached out to me in my direct message and said he wanted to tell me his story. And I say, okay. Now, you might not remember that name, but it's the name on a lawsuit that Jay Morrison was involved in. I pulled it up on the last video I did. And this is what Michael Avant says to me. I've known Jermaine my whole life. You know, we are church people. And what he said is that he inherited land. He inherited land from his family, built a house on that land using equity from his current home, and then brought Jay in, Jermaine is his name, as a 0.25% interest owner, or a 0.25% interest partner, let me say that. Next thing you knew, it was sold out from under him. He sued for his $200,000. The charges were breach of contract, failure of consideration, fraud, fraudulent inducement, fraudulent transfer. And they settled at $200,000. This is all public record. They settled at $200,000. So a settlement is not like the judge orders you. That means y'all sat down and you said, I'm going to pay you. Let's just get rid of this. I owe you your money. And then that's in 2009. So since 2009, he ain't got paid. So then in 2016, Jermaine Morrison files a BK. And one of the people that he's trying to put in the BK is this Michael Levant guy. Understand this is what we're dealing with. So we got a whole thing about Tulsa real estate and Tulsa, Oklahoma, and black people losing their land and being stolen from. It don't matter if it's a white person or a black person that do it. The whole idea is that black people have been stolen from. And I'm with that concept. But if I find out that you stole from black folks, I'm on you. And my point of doing this is for not only for somebody like Michael Levant, who seemed like a good-hearted man, but also for all the other black people that believe in the shit you talking about. Because there's going to be another black guy behind you that went to Columbia that really know about investing, that's going to really have a plan. And because your plan might not have worked because it never was set out right, he ain't going to get black people to believe in it. So we here. Let's talk about it. 323-879-4445. You can call in if you want to talk. Let's take a break. I'm going to come back and shine this up.
What we were talking about in 2017. And what we were talking about is we were framing the dynamics, the realities of what Black America was going through. We were framing the consequences of allowing somebody like this to take your money. But you can't frame it if Boyce is vouching for it, if Tariq is vouching for it. I think he said lames or something. I don't know, some old 90s slang. So as we come forward, what we're seeing now is that Jay Morrison has failed. Not accidentally, but miserably. But he failed spectacularly for himself. You had Bakar put up a post, June 21, Jay Morrison finally filed his 2021 SEC. June 21 of 23? Why we didn't get it before? Oh, because the numbers show that you're paying yourself. Reports for Tulsa Real Estate Fund. He paid himself $600,000 to manage TREF into bankruptcy and $2 million for administrative and marketing. Now, I know this is a little hard to see, but let's zoom in. You can see it. Total operating expenses, $2 million, 2.8. So y'all paying a high school dropout felon that's losing your money. Management fees of $600,000 and general administrative and marketing fees of $2 million. Y'all also paid in 2020 $500,000 in management fees and $1.75 million in administrative and marketing, which could go back to him. So he might be paying himself $800,000, $900,000. We have no idea. All I know is that the thing is negative, net losses. But what's weird is when you look at the net loss, can you zoom in with me? The net loss of $2.7 million in 2021, what does it add up to? It's almost exactly the amount of the administrative marketing and his management fee. He's handing you a check to lose your money. He's handing you a bill to lose your money. And not a regular bill, a multi-million-dollar bill. Let me take the first caller tonight. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Tom? It's Jake Service from North Georgia, outside of Atlanta.
Give me your take on it.
Whole situation, man. I fortunately didn't. Yeah, I didn't invest no money with that clown. But yeah, it's a shame, man, because he's like triple dipping, and everything was kind of spelled out in the documents. I guess when he filed the SEC documentation, so it's almost like legally he can do what he's doing because he's not really violating anything, but it was all there in black and white. But for whatever reason, our folks just obviously don't take the time to do their due diligence and read the material. But it's a shame, man. The boy and all those other clowns vouching for him, and now everyone now it's crickets, man. But it's just an unfortunate thing. It could have been something great.
No. It couldn't be great. It couldn't be great. See, that's where we go wrong. How is it gonna be great? The man dropped in 11th grade. Like, I'm just saying to you straight. I'm saying at that certain point, the documents I showed in 2018 showed it was set up in a way where if he disappeared, you would lose your money, kind of. It was set up in a way where he's the CEO and the CFO. It could never be great. It was a high school project. Exactly. And so, like, what happens now is we recreate ourselves in the image that Boyce told us to. So Boyce then told you that it could be. And I'm not screaming at you, but I'm screaming at the concept, because I think what has happened is we're using Nixonian black economics to avoid black politics. we are telling ourselves it could be great, but never asking ourselves, how could it be great if a dude who had a bankruptcy, who might have had $10,000 or less, came to you and said that he could make millions of dollars by spending your money on himself? It couldn't be great.
Exactly.
Give me your last take.
Well, what I mean was great. Well, yeah, what I mean great, not in terms of this clown, but I mean great in terms of just the concept, just the idea in general. But you got to have the right person managing it. You got to have somebody that has the expertise, like you said, the skill, the knowledge to do the politics,
and also that don't take $600,000 in salary.
Exactly, and that's a ridiculous thing because this clown is living off of that money, and that's because he does nothing. I have not seen anything tangible here in Atlanta area that they've done other than buy that black house or whatever that crap is he done bought and use that money, and basically it's using the money to live off, and no one holding them accountable. But like I said, I don't know legally what can be done. That's my ultimate question, but it doesn't look like that.
Hey man,
thank you so much. What you and the vet doing. I'm glad you revisiting this issue, and as a people, we just got to be more conscientious about what we do, especially with dealing, with when it comes to financial stuff.
All right, so where does 600,000 go? Well, we can't get as many Instagram posts. Because they took them down and everything. But we know that they had the little multiple 100,000 looking wedding where they was like Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. We know about the trip to the Dominican. He also was talking about Gucci. But all of that, and Boyce is still trying to sell you on black aspiration. Standing in front of the Maybach or the whatever, the Rolls Royce. I want everybody to understand something. Because black people use the word million so much, even though they don't know nobody with $1 million largely, and then they have $1,000 in their account. We need to give context to this 600,000 in the chat. Can I give context to this $600,000? $600,000 in salary. When you look at black income, now this is from 2012 because they don't give it to us regularly, but let's just use this as a metric. Only 0.02% of all black households make more than $560. He has used your money to put himself in the top 0.02% of black earners. This man, this guy that Boyce vouched for. And now, many people are complaining on the Better Business Bureau because they can't put money in their employment fund. I want you to see it because I'm going to have a discussion that ain't nobody else having. This guy, the drug dealer turned millionaire tycoon. He a drug dealer turned millionaire tycoon. In the video that I'll cut in the final version that I did from 2017, I show you that he had an active bankruptcy. I don't know how you give money to somebody who's a high school dropout, 3-time felon, ain't told you if he got character issues, and he's in an active bankruptcy. And I show you that there's a guy suing him for supposedly taking his house as you guys giving him money. And then the funds, so he's millionaire, but he got all these small little debts and he had barely any assets in that bankruptcy filing. And I showed all this back in 2018. This is public record. You can go look up for yourself. And one of the ways these people do it, let me show you what they do. His name is Jermaine Morrison, not Jay Morrison. So that slick move of using Jay, even though is a way for you not to be able to Google search easily. I'm not saying that you actively don't know his name is Jermaine, but most people don't know. So they Google Jay Morrison. You got to Google Jermaine Morrison to get the real information because that's his legal name. Just saying. How do you know, Tone? Jermaine D. Morrison on this bankruptcy filing. This is the guy, again, that Boyce Watkins vouched for over and over and over again. And now we talking about Black Love and Popeyes. How about you explain why you vouch for somebody in an active bankruptcy with purported fraud against them? How about you explain, did you do some literacy tests? Because when somebody dropped out of high school in like 10th grade, I just need to first see if you can add and subtract. That's like a really low level. You can be mad as you want to. I didn't ask this man to think he's a financial advisor or some sort. I don't believe he is. I don't believe he's really nothing more than somebody should be working at McDonald's. I need you to see it because I've been telling you. Because I'm going to bring up the information. We're going to talk about it. Let's look. I got a clear version here because they're the power couple of that document. So let's go through it. So in 2021, they paid general administrative and marketing fees of $2 million, which is like checks to somebody or themselves. They paid a management fee back to himself and $600,000. And then they lost $2.7 million, which adds up right to the 2.2 million and the 603 damn near to the dot. So they paid themselves to lose you money. Can we see it? And it's not 1 year. I mean, it collected millions of dollars, but he just spent it on. So you got $1.7 million. So he went up 16%. They got the percentage here. He increased by 16% the administrative and marketing budget from 2021 to 2021. I ain't see no marketing. And then he increased his management fee while he lose you more money. He running a fund. I mean, none of this. I don't think you understand. This is not about black business. This is about not being a business. This is elementary school sham scam nonsense on this paperwork. And many of you should be very frustrated because you use, let's go back to it, your employment benefits, your employment plan money, and the idea this was going to make you rich. Because this man showed you, you went and Googled him in front of a Rolls Royce and he got the wedding and everything. Can we get to it? 310-388-3499 if you want to talk. He was putting up the billboards. Y'all remember the billboards? The first black-owned real estate crowdfund in history. Invest with us today. I remember the billboard. So many of you guys didn't understand this is not how you market a real estate fund. This is him promoting himself and his wife. This is both unprofessional, a waste of money, and also, as I understood it, purportedly, he was putting this across the street from his ex-girlfriend. I'm successful now. Look at me. What is this? What is this man doing? And why would you give him money with this up? Some of this is self-evaluation to just understand. Maybe I'm punching above my pay grade to give a man money that would put this billboard up. You got Boyce Watkins spending an hour and a half rambling with no financial documents telling you that he the finance guru trying to sell you classes about this nonsense that you lost money on, and you ain't calling him out. A 3-time felon and high school dropout, Morrison grew up in a poverty-stricken household in northern New Jersey, filled with ever-looming threats of physical and emotional abuse. He may not, come on, bro. There's a lot of questions that needed to be answered that were left on the table while he took your money and spent it and paid himself $600,000 in 2021 and then waited till 2023 to even tell you. But I was looking at the documents, the original documents, way back. The first filing, when nobody else was talking about it. See, in that first filing, 2017, it showed you And I told you guys in June of 2018, I told you guys right when he announced that this don't make no sense. The accompanying, look, the auditor come in on 2017, and the accompanying statements have been prepared, assuming that the company will continue as a going concern. As described in Note 2, the financial statements, the company has not yet commenced planned principal operations and has not generated revenues or profits since inception. These factors, among others, raise substantial doubt about the company's ability to continue as a going concern. So just to be like barely stable, you gave your money to a high school dropout, felon 3 times that didn't tell you what the felonies were. You don't even know, all 3 of them laid out what year, that had an active bankruptcy with the purported fraud claim in the middle. That's why it was dragging along. I interviewed the guy that was claiming the fraud. He told me that it was his grandmama's house, and somehow Jay Morrison took that from him, right out from under him. And then essentially at the bankruptcy hearings, because he was showing up, Jay would smile at him. I'm just telling you what the man told me. This is before everybody was talking about this. When everybody was talking about supporting him, and that's why you gave your money, you got to go back and ask those people why they brought him on their YouTube channels and vouch for this fund that now has stolen millions of black people's money, or looks like it has, at least. This was the little posters and stuff. You remember Last Chance? You create that immediacy. This was another part of the documents. Boyce Watkins yesterday needed to pull this document up. See, if you're not pulling this document up, you're not talking about nothing. What is that document? This is the 2017 document. So Boyce told us that it was financially sound. I'm gonna pull that clip in the final version as well. He told us it was financially sound. But look at this. Directors, executive officers, and significant employees. So Jay Morrison, the guy, again, let's be clear, this man who was a 3-time felon high school dropout, he is also, he's the CEO, he's the CFO, he's the COO, he's the CTO. He everything. That ain't no red flag. Boyce thought that was, I've checked out the stuff. What do you say? I checked it out and it's financially sound. You don't sit your ass down. So in addition, they only have $15,000 in assets. So it's not even like, okay, they got $17 million already. So my little 600 gonna be safe. They told you in the document they only have 15 racks. But Boyce told you it was financially sound. So you said, Boyce know more than me, so I'm going to go with him. But I told you that they only have 15 racks. This is the 2017 information. So there's people that literally don't know nothing, came to you with literally something that isn't nothing, and told you, give me the $600 you're going to put in your employment plan to possibly have a little bit of retirement, and you gave it to them. You starting on the street, you should think back to this moment. I'm talking about as you get old. That's the employment plan money. I told y'all when it happened, that $600 could be in your refrigerator. All hip hop later on starts covering me and Tony the Closer as the Lipstick Alley. Mogul Jay Morrison says he didn't scam people, but countless others say he did. It started with me saying it, and then Tony jumped in and took it and ran with it and was protesting. Shout out to Tony for that. Then you had JT Pocket Watcher, and I'm going to get into Boyce's whole thing that he said. Let's read some of what Boyce said, actually, right now. Because I don't like how he spoke about JT. I don't know JT that well. He came in my show, donated. Shout out to him for that. But I want to get into what Boyce said in his video. And I'm going to leave this on screen while I read some of what Boyce said in his video. Which video? The video that he put up yesterday that didn't have no financial documents, that was trying to basically blame you for not supporting a black business. This here in this document ain't no business. And for that man to have any kind of financial background and to not know that this man saying all these, this is like high school. 15,000. Come on, man. This wasn't no business. Paying out $12 in dividends. So number one, Boyce said he don't talk about it much. Well, maybe you should. Maybe you should talk about it a lot because you were this guy. Let's go back.
Welcome.
You were this guy. You was talking about it for an hour, for 56 minutes, for an hour, but you don't talk about it much now. Come on. He was talking about Nipsey Hussle, and then he talked about he don't judge felons. I need you to do some kind of metric. I need you to judge some character because I don't know if you know numbers because you ain't adding no numbers up because you vouched for this thing with $15,000 in it. So if you're not judging no character and no background, no resume, and then you're not looking at the financial documents, what am I listening to? He said something about now we get into, this is Boyce Watkins on his video. I took some notes of the different points I wanted to hear. He said black people getting ahead. Talked about black, that's a black empowerment talk. So you do that when you don't have no reason that allows us to understand that you should be on here apologizing to black people and saying, maybe I need to step away because I've been failing you guys and doing any evaluation. He asked the hard questions and he was really impressed. Right now, for those people, even people might not even have but a high school education, how impressive are these documents that I just showed you? How impressive is this document? He didn't even come to you with a real hustle. How impressive is this man? A 3-time felon and a high school dropout. Both. Boyce probably don't know what grade he dropped out. How about that's the first question? Hey, Jay, I'm supposed to vouch for you, but I need to know what grade did you drop out in? Was it 10th? Was it 11th? So what math did you finish in? In addition, who else is what chief CEO? This document is because this is when he's saying it to him. This is the document that's initially, because then all of a sudden he started giving people these positions that to me weren't qualified. I think his wife holds one of these. Excuse me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe so. She a poet or something, right? He was really impressed. He said that he invested, meaning Boyce says this, after Nipsey. So you're a financial advisor that's going to follow the direction of a rapper to what you should invest in, and you put $10,000 in. Did you get your 10 out? Can we see a receipt that you put the $10,000 in? How have you been doing on dividends? Can you join our lawsuit against him if you have not got your $10,000 out so that we can make a claim against him? Oh, if you didn't ever put it in, or if you got it out, you fine. He had a rental space in the Legacy Center. Can you show us pictures? Oh, but he not really in Atlanta. He just had a space in the Legacy Center, but he not there, and he had an office there to support. Can you show me a picture of you sitting in your office in the Legacy Center doing work? A piece of mailing in addition. He talked about JT Pocket Watcher. Now, I don't know enough about JT to say I'm a vouch for him, just like Tony the Closer, but they seem like they do good content for the audiences that they're providing it for. I've had Tony on the show a couple of times. JT supported mine. But what Boyce said is that underhanded stuff he do, where he act like he's supportive, but he really saying something real slick. He said JT reminds him of a white guy. You remind me of a white guy too. We're going to get into Maven in a second, where Your Black World, he sold the name of Your Black World to Maven and the white Dracula looking man. But you're saying it to him, and then when he come back, you're going to act like you the victim. The reason that you say he a white guy, for those people watching, in my view, is to undermine him because you're making a black empowerment show. So then you've invested people in black empowerment, and then you've tied him to whiteness. So he the outsider. Instead of dealing with, you should be apologizing because you just tied people to scams. Business can be messy. This is not about business being messy. He got into lawsuits and everything. This is about this financial document saying this man paid himself and his wife or whoever else $600,000 in operating expenses and $2 million in administrative and marketing fees. Can I talk? I didn't see no document when he was talking. He just talking to you like your homegirl or like your homeboy. I didn't come here for that. I came here because I thought you was going to clear it all up. That's all right. Tone talks with. We got to be careful policing black business because, you know, you got to make money off of blacks. Then he got into some weird contrast analogy that must work in his mind about Popeyes and how much they make for, look, I'm going to skip forward because I want to understand something. Look, when you go to Popeyes, I'm only talking about this because Boyce weird ass talked about this. When you go to Popeyes and you pay this much for a combo, they give you the chicken and the combo right there. That is your capitalistic exchange. With this man, he was selling you on black aspiration. Standing in front of this rented house, like a music video. Come on. Y'all got to stop the giggling. I'm just coming to you. Let's talk about this Popeyes. Because he also told us that Popeyes, come on, is a white business and then TREF is a black business. Well, they got an organizational chart. And on that organizational chart are people. So not only is it that you're getting the chicken, let's go back to the picture. You're getting the chicken from a company with an organizational chart of people. Who are the people at Tulsa Real Estate? Because Boyce told us that we should believe in it, right? Not only did he tell us we should believe in it.
And my instinct said, okay, he's really.
I'm going to have to play that in the final version because I know y'all can't get no audio. He also said, come on, that is financially sound and that he really know what he's talking about. He went to remember he came out with the little suit and everything?
And my instinct said, okay, he's really thought.
So again, they're paying themselves $600,000 in 2021. But on the organizational chart, Jay Morrison, I skip forward, is the CEO, the CFO, the COO, and the Chief Technology Officer. Let's look at Popeyes. Since Boyce brought up Popeyes, they got John Craner as the chairman, Sami Sadiq as the president, Amy Alarcon is the vice president of culinary innovations, Peter Rivera is the editor. I'm not going to go through all this, but they got a whole chart. Then John Craner, he went to Harvard Business School. That's the chairman. So the man that's giving you chicken went to Harvard. But the man that you gave your money to is a dropout. We see this thing, and we see this con, and we see this Boyce Watkins talking about Tulsa small compared to other funds. I don't care how small or big something is. I just want to know where my $1,000 is at. None of that matters. I don't even know what this man was talking about. You should ask him to shut up. You should go back over there livid and demand, what were you talking about in this video? I need to know why you said this was financially sound and whether you got your $10,000 back. And if you didn't get your $10,000 back, can we sue together? I don't want us to keep you long, but we got to go back. And Boyce Watkins was the leading voice. You remember he had the Your Black World? You remember yourblackworld.com? Go over there right now. It's Jackpot City. You remember with Maven? And he did the deal with Dracula looking man. Dracula ain't at Maven no more. I'll just let you know that. You can Google yourself. He done left Maven, but our Your Black World that everybody poured all their energy into through Boyce Watkins, the Your Black World that everybody is this now. Because he sold it to Maven. He went to the little conference with all the people. What conference you talking about? So it was like a little conference that Boyce went to where they had the key. It was on Whistler Mountain. Remember Whistler? Last time I heard of a Whistler was this guy with Blade. Was he leading the conference? You remember him from Blade? So Boyce is on Whistler Mountain with the people with the Dracula looking man, and then sold off Black World telling you about black business. I'm just telling you, go look at yourblackworld.com right now. They done made it top games, featured prizes. And Boyce out here. Let me see. Can we see Boyce? Let me see. I don't, Boyce like to be in the front. He probably behind the flag. The Whistler Mountain. Gerard, you know what oh damn, you didn't even know this went down. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you still thinking that Your Black World is around. Nah. Sold that. Something. Can we talk? But he telling us in the interview that we need to look at Popeyes as a white business when we know, look, when you go to the drive-thru, and you say, I want a chicken sandwich. They say it is $7.69 for the meal. You go over to, or $9.20 with the tax. You go to the window, you give them your $9.20, they give you your chicken meal. You know the quality is going to be a certain way. You know everything because these people got an organizational chart. Where your chicken meal with this stuff? I need you to see what's going on. Thank you so much for the support, all the support that's going on. I see y'all, but I got to keep it running. I know it's a lot going on here. Lord, Tone is opening up the biscuits and showing us ain't no chicken inside for Tulsa real estate. Lord. Hey, somebody said not Whistler from Blade. I'm just telling you that's the only Whistler. So like basically it was the Maven thing. It was supposed to be, I don't know what part he sold. All I know is that when you go over there now, it used to look like this with a black hand holding the globe and all that. Now it's Jackpot City. But in addition, it was on Whistler Mountain with the key. This the black key on the flag. It's questionable. And he out there with somebody look like one of the Blade characters, one of the little Draculas. On the mountain at a conference, telling us about black business and supporting black business. Everybody forgot about that, right? And this the Whistler I know from Blade, Abraham Whistler. When Blade get cut up, he fix him. Moving back to Jay Morrison, not to lose direction. You had the NFLPA release a warning in August of 18. That's after my video. Not to mess with this, but you still gave him your $600 from your employment fund. An NFL contract advisor recently requested the NFLPA review the business background of a business known as the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Our limited investigation revealed the following findings that we are passing along for informational purposes. Alert, in red. The Tulsa Real Estate Fund is actively soliciting investors. The fund is registered in Georgia. It is lists Mr. Jay Morrison as the chief executive officer. And then by then I think he had added this Otawale guy as the vice president of business development. Well, they found some stuff on Otawale, a criminal record. Otawale was arrested in Illinois on several counts, including attempted terroristic threats, computer fraud. So that's the new guy that he brought in. That's who got your money. On June 7, 2018, TREF issued a press release titled Real Estate Mogul Jay Morrison Raises $9.6 million in first 7 days of historic IPO. In addition to TREF, Morrison and Otawale are associated with the Jay Morrison Academy. JMA purports to provide real estate and financial education to assisting in wealth building. They pulled up Jay Morrison's criminal record. They pulled up his bankruptcy filing that was still active that I talked to you about earlier. They pulled it all up. In August of 2016, Jay Morrison filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. So he filed for bankruptcy, was in the middle of the filing, and you gave him your money because Boyce and people like Tariq said that, you know, he the real one and he got it. And now what happens is don't nobody want to say nothing now that he done used the money for salaries and for weddings and for trips. I told you, I talked about it back in 2017 in the show I just showed you guys. It show it right here. This is the guy where he brought the claim against Jay Morrison for the house and all that. Can I talk today? Can I bring this like to you guys? But it's not just that. You go back some more years. This is like 2014. Do y'all remember the Young Jeezy $1 million thing? So False Prophets did a whole video breaking it down. And what it showed, I believe it's Tony the Closer posting it, is that Jeezy was getting out of jail, and then Jay Morrison concocted some plan purportedly with him where he looked like he gave $1 million through his street dreams to the Jay Morrison Foundation. But then when you actually looked at his foundation, it never gave the $1 million to Jay Morrison, but they got a lot of press, so then other people just bought classes. That's reportedly what happened. This is 2014. Boyce said that he's financially sound, but I wonder if Boyce knew about this. Not only did he ask about it, did he know with a shadow of doubt that this $1 million was given? Because that's the only way you can vouch for this thing. We 2 years out. This is me in 19. Who invested? Did you get your money out? What's the report back on Tulsa real estate? From the subpoena in March, the doc showed that they lawyered up and the story trail goes quiet. The only thing that I could find were a few think pieces on why prospects shouldn't invest, as well as warning to NFL athletes, which I just showed you guys. Where we're at now is that Boyce Watkins and his show about Popeyes, he quoting 50 Cent. I don't know why you would quote 50 Cent as a finance professor. He goes on a tirade talking about if you didn't invest, you can't speak on it. No, that's not the way it works. We can speak on it very much so and make it very clear that this never made sense and that you are a failure for not realizing it. And I'm just coming to you today because I didn't understand what the man was talking about. I felt he was disrespectful to JT Pocket Washer. I felt he's been disrespectful to Yvette Carnell. I feel like the man needs to answer a lot of questions and tell y'all, why did you vouch for Jay Morrison? You need to tell me because my employment plan is light as a result of your failure to advise me correctly. This is Tone Talks. Please go to tonetalks.net. Subscribe, donate, and share. We in here. We here to have a discussion. Nobody else.